Hello everyone, and welcome back to the New Frontier. We are looking out over the water first of all this morning on a slightly chilly but sunny February morning, and that is because Nordic and I have built ourselves a new bench. Nordic isn't quite sitting on it, but yes, there we go. We've managed to build a bench out of some scrap wood that we had laying around after we cut down quite a lot of trees last time. And the plan is that today we are going to be putting to work our Massey with the front loader, the log fork and the new trailer that we have. So we really are going to be pushing this to its limits today, I'm sure. But the first thing that Nordic and I are doing is heading down to the shop because we would like to get some spray cans for marking out the trees and ensuring that we have a reasonable area in which we can cut down trees. There we go, Nordic is in with us, that is good. Right, we will head on over to the store. I think I have the trailer attached, but yeah, that's not too much of a problem. And where is our track? Our track is somewhere through the trees. Here it is. We've driven it so much that it has formed an actual dirt track, so it's kind of making the navigation to the store that much easier. Well, it's quite murky and misty in the bottom of this valley, and it's very cold. You'll see that it is 0 degrees, and we have not had any snow. There is a forecast for snow this evening, but yeah, we've managed to dodge the snow, although I probably would have secretly liked it to snow. I know we could have done some winter snowy logging and forestry. Right, we are here at the shop, so let's get some spray cans. So this is the supply shop. Let's see what they've got. We've agreed to go for orange, so $100 for this marking spray, but that should last us a good while. And here we go, and we can change the tree marker that we want to use. We've got a cross, we've got a downward arrow, we've got a circle, an equal, exclamation mark with a slant, and then a slash, and then a cross again. Fantastic. Oh, sorry Nordic, I didn't mean to hit the spray button there. Back in the truck, and we'll head on back to get eagerly started this morning. Wow, so much easier to do that once we have our track in the ground that's nice and visible. Right, we'll park back up and Nordic and I will get to marking the trees. But the plan is that one of us is going to do the chopping or the tree felling and the delimbing and so forth, and then the other is going to operate the tractor to do the loading into the trailer. But I think what we're going to do is go down to this sort of coppice area here and mark a line out, which will be very handy. Oh, hold on a minute, Nordic. I forgot my axe.
Come on!
I knew I forgot something, and we downed tools yesterday, so I needed to remember to come and pick up my trusty axe. There we go. And shut up again. Right, we have our spray can at the ready, and what we're doing is we're marking a line that is going to cut this coppice off, and then any trees that are in front of it we will be cutting down. So I'm just walking towards Nordic, so we are making as straight a line as possible. Right, that is the area marked, and Nordic has suggested that we cut down a sort of measuring stick so we can see what size of log is going to fit the trailer best. So let me just chop this down. There we go, and I'm not sure if we can pick this up. No, we cannot. I'm slightly fearful of chopping it because it might decide to chop a bit too much off like it did last time. And if we roll it up, we should see that we can clearly mark what kind of size log we need. So I think probably about there is a good size. So there's a bit of overhang on the front and a bit of overhang on the back. Right, we will take our measuring stick as that is the perfect length. Nordic is going to jump in the tractor we will use the measuring stick, cut down our first tree, chop it to size, and then Nordic will come along and load it up. So let's start with this big one. And on we go. Another day of logging. Okay, so Nordic has loaded up his first trailer's worth. I think maybe we'll come along and help strap some of these down. There we go. He has done the remainder. And we have been busy cutting down logs. And what I was trying to do over here before my spray can ran out is it would be nice if we had some longer stumps to kind of butt the trees up against. So there was an area that you could push the log fork up against to actually lift logs, because they do like to slide across the ground. So there we go. We've got a bit of a scrabbling of logs here, which maybe we can sort of roll into position. Yeah, well, this one is light enough to push, so that is good. We can just kind of push them or roll them up against here, and then the log fork can have something to push up against to lift up the logs. That will be handy. Right, we are going to take this first load of logs to the sawmill so we can get that sold. And the idea is that Nordic and I are going to invest that money to buy a winch, which will allow us to sort of haul logs out of the forest and then drag them for processing. So I'm going to follow Nordic down to the sawmill. He's going to drive the tractor, and we can unhitch the trailer. We don't need that. So off we go. Let's see how much we have got from our first load of logs in the new trailer. We have made it. We'll see. I think Nordic is gonna... Oh, he's gonna try reversing. I think we have the axle blocker or locker on the dolly trailers, so that is handy. We'll drive through the sawmill. I think it's our good friend who was here the first time we came. Right, let's see. Hello. How are we today? Oh. Fantastic. Right, I'm keen to see how much we get out of this first trailer load, our new trailer. $10,219. Awesome. That's pretty good for one trailer load. Right, let's get back up in the pickup. And I think we might grab a rear weight for the tractor whilst we are on the way back, and possibly the winch as well. Right, we're at the store, so let's look at a weight and also a winch. Okay, for weights we've got quite a primitive solution, and it is the Lizard shovel weight, 1,000 kilos, and it has some stones packed in it to weigh it down. $1,000, we'll buy it. And for winches we are going to go for the Tajfun EGV65 AHK SG, quite a mouthful. And the main reason for this one is we have a modification where we can add a trailer hitch, which is this bit down here, and that's going to allow us to have the winch attached and then the trailer behind it. Perfect. Excellent. So we've earned money, but we are back down to sort of round about where we started, and we have our weight with stones with a 3-point attachment, and then the winch over here with the trailer attachment. So this is going to work out quite well, I think. Right, Nordic, I guess you ought to get this stuff hitched up. We might have to just grab this bucket with the front loader. Nicely done, there we go. Fantastic. Right, we'll hop in the pickup. Nordic should be able to just attach on to the dolly trailer. Like so. Oh god, you gotta love it when a plan comes together. Fantastic. We can park up back at the shack. Probably we won't attach to the trailer just because we might need the pickup on its own. And we'll scurry it back down here because we want to probably roll some of these logs towards the area that we've marked out as a little buffer zone where we can sort of butt the logs up in a stack. So just rolling these logs down here so they can be easily collected. Probably just want to grab the first one again, which is our marking stick for the right length of logs. There we go. Okay, so Nordic and I are going to trade places. I'm going to do some loading and Nordic is going to do some cutting. Right, we want to head on into the Massey. I do not think we need the winch because we're not going to be doing any dragging. So what we'll do is position this up somewhere else, but we will grab the weight because we will certainly need that. Right, let's just lower that down. And the good thing about the winch is it has a blade on the back, so you can push logs as you need to. Right, let's get into position. Grab this rear weight. And hopefully get to work on picking up some logs. I'm thinking I'll aim for the biggest and the thickest first of all. So I can see some logs over here. So we'll head for that. Drive up to it. Make sure we're pointed downwards. Try and get under it. And then... there we go. We can lift it up. Fantastic. Right. First log loaded. Onto the hook, that is. And pivot it up. And yeah, I managed to open the rear window, which is quite useful, I guess. But it's pretty chilly, so probably not going to keep that open for too long. Right, here we go. Let's get this into the middle. This is where we want it to go. And... oh, have I actually loaded that in a distance? No, I've gone too far. There you go. It's really hard to see and get the depth perception. Let's make it back a little bit. There we go. Right, I'm hoping I'm going to be relatively neat, but as you can see, I am way off. So let's just reset and I'll stop talking so I can actually concentrate. See you when we've got a full trailer. Right, I think I am just feathering off this last load of logs, and sometimes we get some sticky forks, but there we go. I think I have just about managed it. So let's close up the log grab, and I think Nordic and I have only got a certain thing to say about this log grab. It is quite difficult to operate and does make picking up some of these smaller logs quite challenging, but there we go. Nonetheless, we have persevered, and the little makeshift bollards ahead of us, where we've done a small pile of trees, has worked quite well to push up against and enabled us to pick up a few logs at a time. And the winch we have not used at all, but I will just re-pick it up because it is quite nice to have it as part of our little forestry setup with the tractor, the front loader and the log grab. There we go. Right, let's back up to the dolly trailer. Luckily there are some chucks on the wheel once it is unhitched, and stops it from moving anywhere. It is quite a weighty load, so it could have rolled down the hill if it weren't for those. Right, let's just load that up, hitch it up rather, and we can get some straps attached. There we go. Thank you very much. Keep this load nice and secure because it took so long to load it up. Alright, let's hop in. We'll just get the front loader put into transport position, and we will roll on and follow Nordic to the sawmill. Ah, it's given us a helping hand. I made it to the sawmill, so we can do an about turn. We'll lock the axle on the trailer and back up in. We hope to get around 10,000 like we did with the previous load. That would be very nice. Right, let's... oh, we need to be straight to activate it, so straighten up. There we go, we are locked now. We could do a slight turn and back it up in. 7,900, so about 2,000 shorter of the previous load, but that's not too much of a worry. Right, I think we will do another load, and then the aim is to try and buy a greenhouse, so we have a way of growing some vegetables for us to live off, so we can be self-sufficient. That will be very nice, and that will only contribute towards when we eventually get some crops going. And it is February. March time is when we could start to drill some crops if we had the right equipment. So next month we really want to be thinking about buying a plough and a cultivator, and maybe March as well, or April is when we want to be drilling some crops. So yeah, Nordic and I have really got time against us. Made it back to our little patch of paradise, and we will be swapping once again for another load. So we will be back to chopping down trees and getting them lined up for Nordic, but we will look to park the trailer somewhere down here so it is accessible. Alright, let's straighten up and unhitch. Put the chucks in under the wheel so it's not going to go anywhere. And I think what we'll do is just drop this winch out of the way for Nordic so it is not going to get in the way like it did for us whilst we were loading. There we go. Lower it down there. Perfect. And we'll grab the rear weight for him whilst he's scurrying back over from the pickup. Oh, there he is. Great stuff. Okay, Nordic. She's all yours. I will carry on chopping the wood whilst you do the loading. Right, let's get back to it. I think I'll start by just gathering some of the logs and rolling them into position. Okay, we've done some chopping and we made a nice pile up against the makeshift sort of buttress or bollards from the trees that we had there, which is quite handy. Nordic did some fantastic loading on the dolly trailer, and the last of the logs we decided to load onto the trailer for the pickup, as we needed to take the pickup down towards the sawmill and towards the store anyway, because we have some plans to set up a greenhouse, and in order to do that we will need some water, and the store has fortunately got some empty IBCs which we can use to fill up with water to then keep the greenhouse nice and stocked. So that's the plan. We might need to get a pallet fork so we can lift up the IBC. Oh, here we go. We have a nice convoy of logs. Logged and loaded. Pulling up to the sawmill. I hope that Nordic is going to pull up next to us so we can do a little bit of a double unload. That'll be nice to see how much we've got from the combined trailer loads. There we go. That is quite a nice neat stack of logs on the trailer there. Fantastic. Right, there we go. We are fully ready to unload now, so let's sell and see how much we have got. 17,000. Nice. That is good going. Maybe, just maybe, we could look at buying a secondary trailer, like the dollied one, and have them in a train. That might be quite a reasonable idea. Right, we're going to head on to the store and grab a IBC. And I think Nordic will probably unload his log fork and grab a pallet fork as well. We're up to 30,000 now, so that is pretty good. And the IBC and the log fork are probably going to set us back a couple of thousand. And then the greenhouse, I think, is around 9,000. So about £12,000 we've got to spend, potentially. And that will leave us with a good sort of 18,000 for next month to then try and build some more money to maybe buy a second tractor, or at the very least help buy some of our first implements, such as a plough, cultivator, and then a seed drill when we need it. We'll stop by the store to grab the IBC. And here we go, the Lizard Goods refillable IBC tank. It can take water, 2,000 litres, and $100. Perfect. And for pallet fork, we are going with the most cost-effective, the Ahlbom pallet fork, 250 kilograms and $1,700. There we go. Nordic can deposit the log fork onto the back of the trailer. Thank you very much. We can get that strapped down so it's not going to go anywhere. We can actually fold up the trailer as well. And one thing I didn't know is this trailer has some ramps on it, which is very handy. Right, Nordic's going to grab the pallet fork and the IBC, and then we can basically drop the IBC into the pond or lake that is near us to fill up with water. Back to our patch, and I'm really impressed with what we've been able to do today. We have set up a very simple and primitive form of a logging and forestry processing area here, and I look forward to maybe using the winch a little bit more in the future. But the shovel weight came very much in handy for keeping us steady and stable whilst we were loading up the dollied trailer. Right, I think we will look to park up the pickup in front of the shack, and I think the greenhouse is just going to get tucked in near those trees. Right, here is Nordic. He is going to fill up the IBC. There we go. It has been filled, so it can be lifted. Although it might be too heavy, we might need to get the rear weight. There we go. Successful lifting. Now we have a rear weight, although it's still looking a little bit too heavy. Right, I think we are going to build the greenhouse over here, so let's get constructing. And there we go. Our greenhouse is constructed. So Nordic can move on in with the IBC so we can load it in with water. And I think once the IBC is nearby, I can just hop over to switch the little pump on. So a slight change of plan. Unfortunately, the IBC has broken. The valve on it cannot be opened, so we cannot unload the water into the greenhouse. So we're going to have to think of something else. I think we spotted some buckets for sale in the store, so we might go fetch a couple of buckets. There you go, you can't beat a nice simple bucket. There we go, let's get these chucked in the truck. Oh, I know, Nordic, sometimes things just don't work and we have to go back to basics, eh?
No!
We made it back, so let us park up the pickup and we can put our buckets to good use. Right, one bucket for me and one bucket for Nordic, and the good thing is we can probably use this to keep a stash of water if we need to. Alright, let's pick up some water. There we go. And we'll do a couple of loads to the greenhouse. And there we go. We can look to grow some garlic, some chili peppers, some lettuces, strawberries, tomatoes, and a couple of other things. So we're going to have to wait for our seeds to germinate, and hopefully we've got some stuff to eat come next month. But I can see by the weather that it looks like it's going to snow this evening, so Nordic and I better bunker up. I think we were planning to do a little bit of fishing this evening as well to see if we can catch anything. But that is it for today. Thanks to the greenhouse, Nordic and I can now be a bit more self-sufficient with food. But I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you have, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Nordic's channel for his perspective of today's session, and if you've got any tips, tricks or things you'd like us to do, feel free to leave a comment. All that's left to say is I hope to see you again next time on the New Frontier, and we'll see you then. Cheers all. Bye bye.